The next video shows some of my very favourite tracks from the album This Old Guitar of Mine. The title track of this CD introduces the video, and whenever I think about this song, the words that come to mind are, an oldie but a goodie. I hope it is one of your favourites too.
Anyway, I remember this lady, I've heard the story before, but she was in the audience, and sitting probably about where this young blonde lady is here. And I'm crooning away like Frank Sinatra. I was buggered, it was halfway through the festival, and she was happy till I started to sing to her. And she was frowning and carrying on and rubbing her brow and rubbing her neck, and I thought, geez, she really hates this song. Then she settled down and she was fine, and I thought, what the heck set her off, you know? And I'm singing away, but as I was singing, I'm thinking what I sang to her in that first verse. And I've never done it again. It was disgraceful that I sang to a woman these words. Well, her body's cracked and showing signs of age. Isn't that embarrassing? Her skin is dry and weathered, and she's seen far better days. Her poor old neck's not quite as straight as it once used to be, but we're still the best of mates, her and me. Well, she shared my life since I was just a lad. She's been there through the good times, been there through the bad. I've poured my heart out through her 100,000 times, and I still treasure this old guitar of mine. She was right then. Yeah, we're still mates, this old guitar and me.
You have just finished watching a partial video clip of the title track of one of my favourite CDs, This Old Guitar of Mine, which actually won us 8 major country music awards. Coming so early in my career, the album became a big step in helping me become recognised as a full-time singer, songwriter and recording artist within the Australian country music industry. I would now like to do something similar for another of my favourites, The Wheels of Cobb & Co., another track on this CD. Whenever I write a song based on some aspect of Australian history, I always do a fair degree of research in an attempt to make sure I get the story right. Being a keen Australian history student has always added to my personal pleasure in writing such songs. Research for The Wheels of Cobb & Co. led me to write The Bushranger and His Lady, which was recorded on the album Changing Years. In turn, this ballad took out a Tamworth Songwriting Association Award. In 1853, in order to fulfil a need for transport of goods and people between the Victorian goldfields and Melbourne, Australia's first transport company, Cobb & Co. was born. It was originally established by American-born Freeman Cobb and his partners, hence the name of Cobb & Co. The company had a huge influence in opening up Australia, and by 1881 the enterprise ran some 3,000 horses, covering a staggering 10,000 miles a week. Quite often carrying cash and gold, the coaches became a regular target for bushrangers. The Cobb & Co. company quickly embedded itself into the Australian folklore and heritage. Here is a well-known painting by famous Australian artist Tom Roberts. The painting, titled Bailed Up, depicts a Cobb & Co. coach being held up at gunpoint by bushrangers. By around 1920, Cobb & Co. were in heated competition with the ever-expanding railway network, automobiles and Qantas Airlines. Sadly, after 70 years of faithful service, August 1924 saw Cobb & Co. gallop into our history books. Their last run from Yulbar to Surat in Western Queensland saw the end of an era where the horse played a vital role in opening up our country. Here is a snippet of a song I wrote and recorded in honour of Cobb & Co. I hope you enjoy The Wheels of Cobb & Co.
I live beside the highway near a central western town, where an old-time coaching station slowly crumbles to the ground. But this ancient relic once stood proud back in those days of old, where they listened for the wheels of Cobb and Co. But Cobb and Co don't run the western line out here no more. Now there's only travellers and big semis thundering past the door. But I often think about those days 100 years ago, when they listened for the wheels of Cobb and Co. When they listened for the wheels of Cobb and Co. For the rattling of the coaches on the rough and stony road, the thundering of the horses as they strained to reach their goal, where they waited for the lights of Cobb.
Most of you would be aware of my deep love for the Australian outback, particularly the remote country that centres around the Cooper, Diamantina and Georgina rivers of far southwest Queensland. This region is called the Channel Country and was made famous through the exploits of explorers Burke and Wills and the amazing life story of Australia's cattle king Sir Sidney Kidman, who at one time owned most of the country around the Three Rivers. By the time I started to write for This Old Guitar of Mine, I had recorded only one song as regards the rivers of the outback, and that was a song about a river in the Kimberley called the Drysdale River. The inclusion of Where the Cooper Flows on this CD was to instigate a very strong practice of including on a regular basis songs on subsequent CDs which emphasised the beauty, magic and uniqueness of the Australian outback rivers. And so brings us to the last track I wish to highlight from This Old Guitar of Mine, the song Where the Cooper Flows.
And amongst the ancient gnarled and twisted branches of the coolabahs that sway there to and fro are the secrets of the past aloft forever, where the muddy waters of the Cooper flow. I've seen this mighty watercourse in drought time, when the station kids had not seen rain before. And I've seen the inland sea that stretches out, when the floods come from the rivers to the north. And the hard men and women on the stations know her moods as seasons come and go. And they say that once you've seen her, you will always want to stay where the muddy waters of the Cooper flow.
I do hope you have enjoyed this short trip down memory lane as we reflected on one of my favourite CDs, This Old Guitar of Mine. Take care and keep safe.
The old river guns and coolabahs still grow, where the muddy waters of the Cooper flow.
I have recorded and published 14 CDs since the album This Old Guitar of Mine, so it has certainly brought back some beautiful memories for me, and I hope it did for you too.